Drawing is a language which can be learnt like any other language to communicate and express your ideas in an exciting way. As a kid, I loved drawing. Drawing periods were my favorite in school. I loved everything about it, the smell of freshly bound drawing pads to the colorful crayons, the smiley faces and the stars I got at the end of each assignment from teachers. It was a magical feeling. Nothing stimulated my brain as a kid like drawing did. Hi guys, this is Yogesh Chaudhary. Welcome back to my channel Design Yogi, and in this episode I am going to show you the basic steps that I use to draw a cartoon character. Being a 90s kid, I grew up watching shows like The Jungle Book, He-Man, DuckTales, Gummy Bears. I can go on and on. I can list at least a dozen more shows and hundreds of distinct characters that are etched in my memory forever. As a kid, I loved creating my own little world filled with cartoon characters. Mickey Mouse and Minnie are my all-time favorite. Even today, I find drawing very therapeutic, and I think you might enjoy drawing too. If you want to give it a try, then I suggest you quickly grab a pencil or a pen and something to draw on. I am using a A3 ivory sheet and Staedtler pencils to draw this. I have 3 grades of these pencils. I'll be using 4H to do all my markings and rough drawings, and HB and 3B pencils to mark the final lines and the shadows. I like to start by marking the center of the paper and define the boundaries before I begin the actual drawing. I'm planning to draw a typical cartoon character from the 90s, for which a 3.5 head figure will work fine. I'm also marking these lines, dividing my drawing area further into 4 parts like these. What I mean by a 3.5 head division is this. 1 head, 2 head, 3 head and 3.5 head. Similarly, to draw a full-grown human figure, we use a 8 head division, also referred as 8 head figure. And to draw a more elongated, stylized fashion illustration, we use a 10 head division as a guide to make the basic proportions right. If drawing human figures or fashion illustrations or generally drawing is something that you like, then I suggest you subscribe to my channel. Before I begin, I like to take a moment to think about what I'm going to draw. I'm planning to draw a stylized kids cartoon character, let's say between 3 to 4 years of age. A girl, to be more specific. But she's not an ordinary girl. She's going to be very cheerful and expressive. Of course, high on fashion and style. I will try and make a stick figure first of my character. This is the balance line. I'm slowly adding lines to define her basic posture, marking lines for her head, shoulder, spine, waist, hip. These are the lines for her legs and feet. A stick figure basically defines all the straight lines. Here I'm adding hands. Let's just say she's doing some sort of a movement with her hands and is touching her head. This is the other hand. To begin, I recommend you start with basic straight standing poses like this one. A straight pose is fairly easy compared to action poses or poses that involve a lot of movement. And here we have it, the stick figure. This will be the head, this will be the body, and these are her legs. And here I have also defined basic movements of her hands. Once I am happy with the stick figure, I will start adding more curved lines to keep refining the body. For the neck, lines for the shoulder blades. I am defining her arms. Let's give an underwear to define the hip and the crotch area. Her legs. I'm roughly drawing her body and not really worrying about the final result. I'm also going to dress this character, so all these lines are just guidelines for draping the outfit on her. Other than that, these lines will serve no purpose and I will erase most of them in the end. It is important to note that I am using a 4H pencil to draw all these lines, so they are very light and will fade away in the background once I use a darker pencil to draw my final lines. Now I will start working on the face. I start by refining the circle for the head. I am now marking more lines to convert this flat shape into a form, more like a sphere. I am going to do that by marking these curved lines, basically dividing the sphere till I have enough lines to place all the face features. This is the line for the ears, marking the hairline. Somewhere here we will have her nose. I am putting 2 dots, almost a pig-like nose, giving her a big smiley face, adding teeth and a tongue. I want this character to be cheerful and full of life, like all kids generally are. She is wearing a huge pair of sunglasses. I am again using these lines as guide to draw the shape. Since her one hand is touching her head, I think it is a good idea to give her a sunglass and use this hand to hold the glasses, almost like she is trying to adjust it, something like this. Slowly I will start adding lines to define the hair. I'm giving her really big ponytails tied with a rubber band. I want her ponytails to become distinctive part of this character. So I'm going to make these really big and interesting. It's always a good idea when you're drawing a cartoon character to exaggerate 1 or 2 distinctive features, like the big ears of Mickey Mouse and the humongous biceps of Popeye the Sailor Man. Let's give her a frock. Hopefully the bottom flare of the frock will balance this whole character and the composition. For now the hair is looking too big, but I'm liking it big. I'm also adding a bow here at the neck. I'll make the bow also a little bigger, keeping it in sync with the ponytails and the flare of the skirt. Once I'm happy with the overall silhouette of the garment, I will add a few more details to make it look more realistic and 3D. I will also erase all the lines that I don't need now. I like to draw a lot of rough lines. And here we have it, the rough character. I will quickly see once again if I want to add anything else before grabbing the HB pencil, making all the shapes and the features more prominent. This is my favorite part. I don't have to think too much at this stage, almost like I'm tracing on a light box. This is seriously therapeutic, you guys. I'm really enjoying making this, and I love how this character is looking now. I love the big sunglasses. I love how I used her hand to hold the glasses. Her hair are my favorite. I'm liking that she's happy and cheerful. This is almost done now. Just a little bit of more erasing. And the final step is to add thicker and darker lines. For that I'm using a 3B pencil to draw. I love how using a third shade of a pencil quickly changes everything. It instantly adds more depth and feel to the overall drawing. Most areas where you expect to see a shadow, I am marking and filling as final finishing touches. And we are almost done. Just a few more lines here. I'm going to erase all these extra lines one last time. And here we have it, the final character ready. I think I should give this character a name. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have a name for her, then please do leave it in the comment box. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please hit like if you did, and please also share it with your friends and family. See you next week. Bye bye.